let's talk about what got us in this mess. Now, what mess am I talking about? Now remember, I'm reading from a script like I do on all of my important videos like this. So if I look down, that's what I'm doing. The mess that stole our health, blew up our waistlines, clogged our arteries, and gave us more cancers than you can shake a stick at. Let's start with commercial farming. That's one of the biggest culprits. 120 years ago, you were dependent on local farmers if you wanted vegetables, if you wanted hardly anything. Even if you wanted some beef or some pork or some chicken or something like that, it was a local farmer that you dealt with. But now, you can get avocados year-round. 120 years ago, all the wheat was grown by local farmers, and they would take it into a co-op and give it to the co-op, and the co-op would count how much they had, and then the co-op, through a broker, would sell the wheat nationally or regionally or whatever like that. But the individual farmers themselves were growing it. But no, not now. That was 120 years ago. Now, all the wheat's grown by huge corporations. And what do? First thing they do is, before they plant the wheat, they spray poison onto the field in the form of what's called a pre-emergent. And then, after the wheat gets growing, they spray the wheat with Roundup and other things like that to kill the weeds that's growing along. Well, you say, well, why doesn't the Roundup kill the wheat while it's killing the weeds? Well, it doesn't kill the wheat because the wheat has been genetically modified. GMO. Genetically modified so that the Roundup doesn't affect it. Oh yeah, that's going to be good once it gets down inside your gut, you know. So, then move up even to 60 years ago. 60 years ago, you were still dependent on a local farmer for your vegetables and stuff. But then came refrigerated trucks. And now you can get onions and peppers year-round from California, Mexico. Shoot. You can even get vegetables from China. You get all kind of stuff fresh from anywhere in the world because of refrigerated trucks. And we think that's a great thing. It's not really. We'll get into that in a minute. When I was growing up in the 50s, yeah, I'm old, the only time you could get citrus fruit was in the winter, around Christmas. But now you can have an orange anytime, peaches anytime, bell peppers anytime, tomatoes anytime, any food anytime. It's the land of plenty. Then to add on to that, we now have so many highly processed foods, and oh, listen to me, they taste so good, but they have no fiber. That's why they cook so easily, because the fiber's been stripped out of them. And they have no substance. They are just simply empty vessels of calories that taste good. Emulsifiers, MSG, preservatives, binding agents. The ingredient list is just, it'll boggle your mind. And then everything that's fried is fried in a seed oil. And seed oils are labeled as heart healthy, but they cause cancer. They clog your arteries. And they still continue to lie to you, and you continue to believe it with things like, Well, butter's bad for you. Listen to me. Butter is one of the best things that's ever been. Olive oil. Anything besides one of those highly processed seed oils. How many of you still think eggs are bad? They preached that for years. Even the heart doctors did. They were fooled themselves. Listen, eggs are one of the best food you can put in your mouth. Eggs are not going to cause you to have cholesterol. Get over it. They've been lying to you. Here's the bottom line. This body, it's unique. It was designed to store fat in times of abundance. And then when there was no abundance and there were lean times, your body was designed to burn its own fat stores. But here's the problem. There are no lean times. We got food year round. We got everything we want year round. And we eat all the time. We eat anytime we want to. We eat when we're bored. We eat when we're not really hungry. We just eat because it's comforting to us to eat. Then there's the whole thing of, oh, you got to have 3 square meals a day. Hogwash. You've been told that all your lives. And we bought into it. And here's a good one. Well, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I heard that one just the other day from a relative. And they were parroting that line and talking about the morning meal before you head out. Listen, I agree that breaking a fast is important, and how you break that fast is even more important. The guys in the intermittent fasting community and other communities that eat healthy food, they've discovered that if you're going to have breakfast, that you need some protein, and you need some vegetables. You need some things that are going to do you good. You don't need to just eat a donut. If you're going to eat a donut, make sure you eat the donut last after you eat the protein and everything else first. But this notion that you have to have this huge meal in the mornings is nonsense. The same person that told me that breakfast was the most important, of course, they had to follow with the old cliche of, well, you need to eat breakfast like a king, you need to have lunch like a prince, and then eat supper like a pauper. How many of you ever heard that? That's hogwash. That's hogwash. So we eat and eat until we're sluggish, and then have to go rest until the food settles. Bull malarkey. It's time for us to turn that around. It's time for you to turn around. And most of you who are listening to me right now have a minimum of a month's worth of food stored up in fat. No, I'm not saying go on a month-long fast, but I'm saying to use intermittent fasting to break that down a little bit at a time and get rid of it. The old adage of, well, I could eat an elephant, but I can't eat it at one sitting. I have to eat it one bite at a time. That's the way to do it. Don't be in a rush. It took you years to put this weight on, and you simply need to reverse that back over a period of time. Go ahead and lose it quickly with some fad diet. You'll probably gain it back. I know. I've been there more than once, and so have a lot of you. I haven't even touched on the clogged arteries and the cancers and that overeating and consumption of highly processed foods have caused us. That's for a whole nother video, but let me just say this one thing. the cardiologist and oncologist professions would dwindle if all of us practiced internet fasting and just ate less food. We've been duped, we've been lied to, and we've been misled for years. It's time to take back control of your body. And the absolute best thing to do to make that happen is fasting. And then your food choices. And then food quality. Because, here we go, you are what you eat. You are how much you eat. And you are when you eat that food. If you do social media, you can find all kind of groups that have a community of intermittent fasters. I urge you to join one and then join in the conversations. Chances are someone who sent this video to you is a member of one. And I wish you blessings on your journey. And just stop killing yourself with the food. Love you. Bye.